This is Schaffner, California, a typical small town in California's Central Valley, northwest of Bakersfield. It has about 28,000 people, and it's like any other town in the Central Valley. It's flat, it's dry, it's hot, but it has a secret, an open secret, a legal secret. So let's get that out there first. This is totally legal, but if you're in California, this may make you not very happy. So this is just a warning that I'm about to talk about some boring sales tax stuff. So if you're not interested in that, you should skip to the link I give you, like right here, to get to the juicy stuff, the truly salacious stuff. Salacious Shafter, California, you could say. All right, so you've been warned. So prepare yourself for sales tax. First, we need to talk about sales tax in California. So this is a breakdown of California taxes. Everywhere in the state charges 7.25%. And that's the floor. And down here there's these district taxes. So your city, your county, a transit or water district may institute additional taxes on top of the 7.25% to help fund whatever they do, like your county, your city. And that's in addition to this 1.25 in the sales tax floor amount of 7.25. So 0.25% goes to your county for transportation stuff. And then the 1% goes to either your city, or if you're in a unincorporated area, the county. And what's interesting is this 1.25 is where things can get very sketchy, but legal. Remember that, it's legal, but sketchy. All right, so what's really important is this 1%, because this gives local jurisdictions the ability to go into agreements with private entities to share sales tax revenue. So if I'm a city and there's a large business in my jurisdiction, as an incentive to keep them there and to keep the sales tax money in my city, I can say, hey, I'll share 25% of all this 1% revenue with that business. All the 1% revenue the business generates as an incentive for the business to do more business in my city. And it incentivizes the business to stay in my city, to bring jobs, things like that. What's interesting is I found this spreadsheet. The state of California, the CDTFA, there was a law passed recently that requires all cities and jurisdictions that have these tax sharing agreements to submit information to the state to be published. And what I saw was really interesting was from the city of Shafter. They only have 3 agreements, but there's this one with Cooperative Sourcing LLC. In 21 years, they paid out over $66 million in sales tax to them. That's a lot of money. As we dig into it, we know it's legal. It's legal. It's legal. Doesn't mean it seems kind of wrong. The city of Shafter, they share 75% of that 1% with that company. You may think, interesting. Is Cooperative Sourcing LLC, Robert Condejas and Dixieline Lumber Company, are they local? They are not. So Dixieline Lumber Company, I think, operates statewide, and I think they have a location in Shafter, and they have a pretty small amount. They're getting 50% of the sales. Robert Condejas, $4 million. It's not a huge amount, but it's on 5% of sales, which is crazy. Because we'll look into that later. All right, Robert Condejas is an LA area lawyer, and Cooperative Sourcing LLC is also kind of connected to a lawyer. Cooperative Sourcing LLC is not from the state of California. It's from Georgia, and they don't sell stuff. Along with Robert Condejas, they're in the business of setting up these revenue sharing agreements for other companies. So the big one is the $66 million one. A big part of it came from the company Williams Sonoma. So Williams Sonoma, they they got this agreement and they're paying cooperative sourcing. I don't know how much of the money that of the revenue split, but Williams Sonoma agreed to rent a building from, well, lease space in a building owned by the city of Shafter to have kind of like a call center. So they brought some jobs to the city. And by having that call center, by some form of tax law magic, all the online maybe and call in sales are sourced to that location. So if I buy something from Williams Sonoma, there's a pretty good chance that the local portion, that 1%, will not be going to my local jurisdiction. It'll be going to Shafter, which is kind of crazy because we can kind of see the total sales by doing a little bit of math. We have these total dollar amounts rebated. So we need to the sharing agreement percentage. And that gives us the total amount of that 1%, just that 1% of all sales tax that the city gets. And so just so you know, I've never done this part. I'm doing this part live. It looks like Robert Candejas and Cooperative Sourcing LLC work together since they have the same amount of revenue source. So that's kind of crazy. So yeah, so this is the total revenue, and if we divide those by 1%, in total, this is from $8.9 billion in sales. If my math's bad, please let me know. I don't think it is, but it could be because we go from 8 billion. All right, 1% of that is this, and the revenue share amount is that. So yeah, so that's money because I'm pretty dang sure Williams Sonoma, the people of Shafter, haven't spent $8.9 billion at Williams Sonoma. It's kind of crazy because not only are these sales tax funds not going to your community, they're not going to their community either, because it looks like 80% of them is going to these private enterprises, these law firms, these advisors who set up these agreements, which are totally legal. Remember that they're legal. It's kind of crazy. They're not going to my community. They're not going to your community, and our communities have needs. They could use the funds, and they're barely going to Shafter. So I want to say you should reach out to your local representative and say, hey, we don't like this. My sales tax dollars should stay local. They shouldn't be going out of state to private enterprises because of sales tax magic, sales tax law magic. We have something else. The budget from the city of Shafter. So the city of Shafter, I was looking through their budgets and, pretty normal stuff. Hey, we get money from taxes, and especially a lot of money from these sales tax sharing agreements. They're like essential for, they give Shafter an outsized role, like tax burden for the citizens of Shafter is lower because of all of us. And Shafter is not the only one who does this. You can look at everything. Shafter isn't the only one, but there is one thing that Shafter's doing that is kind of funny and funky, because since I was reading the budgets, I had some questions. I didn't understand everything. I was looking in the appendix. So I was like, okay, normal, interesting, normal stuff. Okay, yep. Oh, Measure A. I wonder what Measure A is. Riverside County. That's not even close to Kern County. Why is Shafter getting money from them? Oh, Riverside County again. That's interesting. Riverside County. Interesting. So I was thinking, why is money that's earmarked for Riverside County communities going to Shafter? And then I learned it is not going to Shafter, but someone in Shafter took a big shortcut. They didn't want to make their own appendix, so they just copied someone's. They copied the city of Murrieta, because we can go down to their agenda. They copied, I think, their 2022 agenda, And Shafter's just been rolling it forward since 2023. I'll leave the links in the video description so you can check them out yourself. Appendix. Okay, we got there. All right. Oh, interesting. This appears to be the same order and language from Shafter. And it looks exactly the same, except for the city of Murrieta letterhead. Measure A. It's the same language. Interesting. Money received from the county of Riverside. Oh, money received from the county of Riverside. I was looking through all the cities in Riverside County to try and find it. But then I found Murrieta, and Shafter's just been rolling theirs forward after copying the 2022 one from Murrieta, because Murrieta's more recent ones are different than their 2022 ones, but not Shafter's. So I think that's interesting. And this wouldn't have been revealed if that sales tax revenue stayed local. So thanks for watching Pizza John Productions. And thanks for watching. Love you.